today I want to help you secure more retainers. Everyone knows in recruitment that retainers is great. You get paid up front. You've got the work exclusive on your desk. You've got the client locked down. You can really get deep into the process. We all know the benefit, right? But are you actually securing the briefs? Because I know the biggest blockage for people to get retainers is the pitch. They're not able to pitch it properly. They're always like, I just don't really know how to get them, how to get them onto the books. And I just want to give you that part to it. So for me, there are 5 steps in delivering a retainer. And those 5 steps are the pitch, the setup, reviewing and reaching out, the processing of people, and then the delivery and close end to it. And within that, there's obviously 1,000 steps. I don't want to go through the whole steps of how you run a retainer end to end. That's a whole nother conversation. I just want to start with the pitch. Because I think once you've got the work, you'll just kick into recruiter mode and do it your way, right? But so today is all about giving you the confidence to go after these retainers, okay? And what sort of things you might come up against and how we would tackle those. So let's just jump into it. Start, and what I want you to do is start with a client that you're already doing work with. So you might be doing just contingent work at the moment. You know, you get a lot of work, or you know this client, or you're comfortable with them. I want you to pick a client where you're already in the room. Because if you're already in the room, there's a level of trust or assumed expertise in what you do, and it's going to be a lot easier to get retained, right? And you're probably even thinking, I've never done retain with them. That's not normal. They're not going to want to change tact and pay me up front. Why would they do that? Because I've been doing it, they've been paying me on success for every other hire. They're all the questions you have, right? We're going to solve those. You really need to be 100% sold yourself on why you're selling a retainer. So let me repeat that. And this is the crux of getting a retainer. You need to be emphatically 100%, without a doubt, in your blood and body, convinced that your client is better off to do a retained exclusive search through you than the way you've been doing business in the past, okay? So let's walk through how we do that. Let's just picture you're in the room with a client. They give you a brief. Hey, Brett, we need you in the room. We need to find this manager. It's a really important hire. Cool. Let's go set up a team. Let's go meet face to face, whatever. You're in the room. They give you the brief. They give you what they're looking for. Yeah, normal transaction. And the first question you're going to ask is, how important is this hire? And they're going to go, really important, like yesterday important, like strategically important. And you go, cool, okay. I'm going to recommend a retained search. Hear the power in that? I'm recommending a retained search. You're not asking for anything. I want to do this retained. Because that's, I think, where people go wrong. They think, I want this. As a recruiter, I want retained. I want to be paid up front. No. I am recommending we do this retained. And they go, okay. And the first question that you're going to tackle with them is cost. Because they're going, I'm going to have to pay them up front. Your response, your next line is, it doesn't cost you any more money. It's just a better way to get results. Because really, it doesn't cost them any more money. It's just structured differently. Instead of paying you for all of it at the end when you get success, you're paying a little bit up front to get you going, to engage your resources and your energy and your time to then do the job better. Okay? And then to almost like to increase the likelihood of an outcome. And I think that's the power in this pitch, right? Is being confident that, yeah, you're paying up front. It's because what then happens, and you go through the whole steps of like long lists, short lists, working through the list with your clients, going red light, green light in terms of like, do you like that person? Do you know them? Yes, we really want them. Or red light, no, we don't want them. You're giving them that sense that there's value there. Their role gets priority. Now that's the next big thing for them is the role gets priority. Recruiters have so much work on. If you're any good at what you do and you're known in your sector, everyone knows you're busy. So by saying to them is, I only take on a limited, like 2 retainers at any one time, and they get absolute priority on my desk. They get done before anything else comes in and gets done. So if this role is important, and I ask you, it is important, that is why I'm recommending this, because I've got one spot and I can put it there, and it means that we give it priority. Hard to argue with that. The other thing is that if you're an expert in your field, they know that you probably take your candidates everywhere. You say to them, you get them exclusively. Until you say, no, I don't want them, we can't take them anywhere else because you're paying for those people up front. They go, oh, okay. So again, there's a power in the control of the process to the client. So it's a really controlled hiring process. Like you are basically ensuring the thoroughness as well and transparency because you're going to show them the long list of people within that search. Walk them through the 5 steps, walk them through how you're going to run it, how you're going to engage with them and all that sort of stuff and what the outcome should look like. And just say, look, the only difference between what we do, like other than all that, that's what we're normally doing. You just don't see it. You get a bit more involvement in it. The only difference is we're going to ask for 30% of the payment up front. That's it. That's my recommendation. Pause, let them digest it. The first question is always like, what if you're not successful? What if we've paid you this money and we don't get a result? Because that's probably what we're all thinking. That's probably what any of your clients who have done it before are going, well, I've been burnt there at some point. I've got to say that when you do retainers, they're typically done by like executive search firms and they're not experts in any one area. They're just very good at search, right? So if you're an expert in your field and you're offering retained services, you are an expert, right? So you kind of already know if this is going to be useful, like if you're going to be able to place this or not. My advice to you is do not take on a search assignment you don't think you can fill. Like if it's a role that is really difficult to fill at the best of times, you can either just tell them that like this is almost an impossible task. I don't think anyone should take this on. If I'm going to do it, you need to pay me up front. I'm not guaranteeing you any results, right? And it might be like one of those markets where there's 20 of these people. You can still do it, but be very clear with that you don't expect any result. But if you want me to do it, it will cost you, and this is what it will be. They'll probably say, no, you don't want that work. You want work that you're gonna fill, right? But they're gonna say, well, what happens if you aren't successful, right? Valid question. I'm gonna pay you, 30% of the potential fee up front, and you're gonna do all this work and we're not successful. It's a waste. You go, well, that's the difference, right? It's not a waste because, first of all, the 30% you're paying me for is the time, like the time investment to do this properly for you. So you can't fault that. If you have to employ someone to do it, you have to pay them as well. So you're paying me for time. You're paying me for resources. You're also paying me for the list because you actually get that list. So you'll have that forever, right? The list of people, their contacts, all that sort of stuff. But let's just say we don't find a successful placement out of this. Let's just say we don't get a result. Well, you're in now a position of power in terms of you know what that market looks like. You've been through that entire process with us. You're now empowered and you've got the information available to you to pivot, to make a decision on what are we going to do with this role. We know that of all these people, we're not getting it right. Where did we go wrong? Okay. What is at that point you say, well, that's when we go, here's the market feedback. We're too low on money. Or here's the market feedback. Your work from home policy stinks. Well, here's the market feedback. Your location isn't desirable, or we're not pitching enough progression. Whatever it is, right? And you table it, you talk to them about it, we tweak it, we go again. So we can always go back to that list. So I think you're never going to end up out of this process with something for nothing. You're not paying for something and getting nothing. You're either going to end up with a result, or you're going to end up with enough information to go, let's go again and let's do it differently this way. Okay. This is an important hire. You want to do it correctly. So this, again, is my advice. So when they come to you about what do we get if we don't get anything, they're sort of the arguments. Not even the arguments. Like they're the logics about it. And that's it. I just think, again, you're recommending this process. Like you're already trusted. So by using those words, I am recommending this to you. It should be enough power in the room. Every time I've used this tactic, it works. And it is beneficial to everyone. You are going to benefit as a recruiter having that stability on your desk. You will make more money because you do get some stuff up front. You get some money up front to do the work you're already doing, which provides stability. But then knowing that you're going to get exclusivity to execute on that too, it just calms your desk down. It gives you some real focus, and it is a quick way to anchor your desk with a bit of stability, and then you can build on top of that with your normal business as usual stuff. Now, a couple of caveats. One, look for conflicts. If you're in a market where you've got I don't know, a client list that's all screaming out for it, you are literally saying to every one of your other clients, I'm not going to help you while I'm doing this because you can't take those candidates elsewhere. 2, make sure you're not headhunting from clients. Like a stupid obvious one, but if you're in a market where like you do a lot of advertising, you get CVs and you flog them out, you can't do a headhunting exercise because you've got no one to headhunt from. Okay, so that is something to consider, and then be really transparent with your client about where you cannot headhunt from. Just say to them, I have conflicts with XYZ. We're not going to see anyone out of those firms through me, but the rest of the market's fair game. It says 2 things. One, your mettle as a recruiter is ethical, and it tells them that by working with them, you're not going to be headhunting from them either. But 2, like you're setting a very clear expectation, and they need to know what they're getting. They need to know that they're getting 70% of the market, and this 30% they're not going to get. Okay, that's it. That's how you pitch for retainers. I hope you got something out of it. I mean, everyone wants to do retainers. Challenge yourself. Go out, have a think about this. I'll put some material out around this to give you the dot points. But give it a go. Go and pitch. Tell me about your successes. If you get a retained bit of business because of this, I want to know about it. I want you to message me privately and go, Brett, got retained business. I'm going to give you a big old high five. That's all I have time for you today. Like, share, subscribe. It helps us grow. As always, have an amazing day. May all your deals and retained business come true.